everyone, it's Chele from Scrap Secrets and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of the card Hoppin July event from the Facebook group Handmade Happiness, and our theme this month was sketches and our technique was either clean and simple or grunge. And I'm not great at either one, but I chose clean and simple, which you guys are gonna have to let me know in the comments if this really is clean and simple, because I still feel like it's maybe a little bit not. But there is a lot of masking in this. So I took a 2-part stencil from MFT. It's like a free formed watercolor. And I'm going to use that as the rectangular piece from that sketch. And I'm also going to be using this stencil, which is also from MFT, and I will link them below if they're still available. I think the watercolor one is, this one may not be, the stripe one may not be, but you can achieve the same look with masking it off, both sides off with some washi tape. You can use a different kind of stencil. You can use a ruler to draw the lines. There's a bunch of different things that you could do to get the same effect that I did. So like I said, this is going to be kind of a masking heavy technique card because I wanted this freeform watercolor to be where that rectangle was in the die. So I masked off the stencil, the stripes that I didn't want, and I'm going to put the first color down, which is Distress Oxide in Dried Marigold, and then I'm going to wipe off the tape because I'm just going to use the same exact pieces. It's really easy. Distress Oxide sits on top for a long time, so it was pretty easy to wipe clean, and I really didn't get any contamination. So I did use some Zig 2-way glue on the back of that stencil, but as you can see, it didn't really stay. So I'm just using my magnets on this We Are Memory Keepers magnetic board that I have, which I love for using for stenciling. So the next color that I chose was Salvage Patina. So I'm going to do both sides of that freeform watercolor piece, and I'm going to do the same exact thing, wipe it off, and then we're going to do the last one, which I believe is Shaded Lilac. Now, when I picked these colors out, these are not 3 colors that I would normally use, but for some reason it looked super 80s to me. And you know, I was working on cards, which you'll see, the video was already posted for my nephews for their graduation. I made 1 card already. I'm still working on the second one. And I was looking for music stuff the other night, and I found this honeybee stamps set, which you'll see in a little bit. And I just thought that it was absolutely perfect for this. So I am now using, Lucy came back up on the desk because, you know, she's got to be in every single video. So I decided that I was going to turn this card sideways. I was going to go up and down, and I turned it sideways. I found this boombox, and hopefully you guys all know what a boombox is, and I'm not just really, really old. And I stamped it out in Lawn Fawn jet black ink. This is the first time that I've used it, so I did have to stamp it a couple of times, but I decided that I wanted to go with a totally 80s theme, so thought it was retro, kind of fun. Like I said, I did stamp it out a couple of times, and I did put the stencil or outline on there just so that I could see where the boombox needed to go. I didn't need that to stamp the stencil down, but I left it in place because I wanted those edges. And now I could have traced the edges in a black marker and or a black pen, and that probably would have been a little bit more clean and simple than what I did. But I took some tumbled glass and went around the edges. I was very heavy-handed, so I did not love the way this looks, and I will fix it in a little bit, but I just went around all of the edges with that tumbled glass and just made that defining edge, because otherwise those stripes wouldn't make sense. So, and like I said, I really wasn't loving it when I first put it on. I had too much ink on that bottom right-hand corner that you can see. So wasn't loving it, and the stencil did move a little bit, so I was just going back in and just trying to fix up the edges the best that I could. Now I'm going to color in the boombox with some Stampin' Up pencils. These are ones that Phyllis sent me when she sent stuff for the girls, and I just thought they were next to my desk. I haven't used them in a while, and I thought let's just use those, because I didn't stamp it on watercolor paper because I was thinking maybe I would watercolor with Distress Oxides, but no. And when I was younger, I had one of those little boom boxes that was bright pink, and it had like mint green and purple buttons on it. And I just remember taping stuff off the radio, and I thought that I was so cool and, child of the 80s. So I kind of wanted to make it look like the boombox that I had when I was growing up. So just going back and using a couple of different colored pencils, and in blue, purple, orange, and definitely pink. It had to be pink because back then I feel like everything was pink. So coloring everything in, I did cut some of this out because it is repetitive. I didn't do any shading because I really only had one pencil for each color. So there really wasn't any shading to do. I'm just testing them out on a scrap piece of cardstock. I don't know what I was doing that for because I really only had one color of purple. I think there's 8 or 10 colored pencils in the set that Phyllis had sent me. So again, Phyllis, if you're watching, thank you so much, because we definitely are using the things that you sent and I love them. I don't have any Stampin' Up! Products besides the stuff that Phyllis sent to me. So, but I am really enjoying using the things that she sent to me for the girls. And yes, they are using them too. So you can see I colored in the speakers orange, and I just wanted to kind of get all of those colors in there and then make the stripes make sense as well as the background. So you can see I don't really love that blob there, so kind of the freeform watercolor. So what I decided to do was mask off the boombox, and then I'm going to put the stencil back on, and I'm just going to do the whole thing in that tumbled glass behind it. So you'll notice that I'm off camera, so I apologize for that, but really it's just ink blending. And you'll notice that the stencil moves. I guess that the Zig 2A glue pen, it's probably time to throw it away. There's really not any glue left in there, but I just keep it thinking I can still use this thing, but it probably is time for me to give it up and find a new one to, for 2A glue or for repositionable glue. So I'm just going back in and coloring around where the boombox is. I could have cut the little piece out between the handle and the top of it, but I didn't really think that that was necessary. So I'm just holding both the mask and the stencil in place and going around it. So this is where I think that I potentially went a little bit too much out of the clean and simple, because I think if I had just drawn the black line, I think it would have looked more like a clean and simple card. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think? Do you think that I should have just drawn the outline on it and left that as a clean and simple? Or should I have gone ahead and done what I did? Or I guess there's a third option. I could have just done the stripes through it as well. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I love to hear what everybody thinks. And I did get a little bit of ink on the side, so I'm using my mono eraser, sand eraser, to get the ink off, because it wouldn't be a card from me if I didn't get ink somewhere where it didn't belong. So that's the card for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have comments or questions, please feel free to leave them below, and I'll see you again real soon for another video. Bye!